Hello there, everyone. How's it going? Let's talk about week 13 of the NFL season and all of these really fun things that I've added on to the NFL algorithm file in Excel. If you're interested in purchasing one of these files, you can subscribe for the whole season. I'll give it to you updated every week with all the picks. And let's talk about what I've done because I'm really happy with some additions that have been made recently. So I brought in a way to bring in the odds a little bit easier off of RotoWire. You can just paste in the odds right from RotoWire here, and all this stuff is going to update with money lines, spreads, and over-unders, which is something we might keep an eye on now. So this is really cool in the odds RotoWire sheet. Also, I did something else. What I did was I tried to lay out the entire rest of the season. So we're starting week 13 is this upcoming week. We're just finishing up week 12. I have all the future weeks and I have point projections for those games, believe it or not, and win score percentages, actually both simulated as if those games were being played this week. And I'll show you how that works at the end of the video. But as for right now, let's talk about what happened yesterday, this Wednesday game that happened. It was the Steelers against the Ravens. We predicted that we actually predicted this game was going to be 19-13 and ended up being 19-14. The score changed because I put a new injury report in there before I froze that. But we had this one very, very close to the way it actually came out. So good for the. I actually won money. I went and bet on that game today. I bet the under in this game twice, and I turned $100 into $325. Just watch this game. So that was pretty cool. So anyway, that was good. 7-7 week overall, but there were some interesting things here. There's a push on this Eagles game on Monday night with Seattle, but whatever. We're not going to talk about that. Let's talk about week 13 real quick, and also let's talk about the future weeks and how you can use this file to look at some things throughout the rest of the season. So there's a little bit of a different look. I've removed some things. I'm trying to make this a little bit easier to use, and here's what we'll talk about in week 13. So this is all not final yet. Injury reports are not final yet. Odds are going to change, all kinds of stuff. There's going to be another update because there are no games except for Sunday, Monday, and I think there's a Tuesday game actually as well that I have to change in there. One of these games I believe is on Tuesday as well. I'll have to look at that. Do I have an error? Yeah, I think I have this as an error game. I got to fix this. But anyway, so what's going on here is week 13. Sorting by point projections descending. Let's do a quick talk about the games and what it says. It says Indianapolis should beat Houston by the most points so far. And win strength is there. Kansas City over Denver's the next. Packers over the Eagles. Yeah, I believe that. Niners over the Bills. Interesting. In San Francisco. Miami over the Bengals. Yeah, that makes sense, but they're favored by 11.5, and we only think they're going to win by 8. I'm not going to get too in-depth into these games yet because I just, you're going to want to look later. Is there anything interesting here? Is there anything where we have a projected margin of victory and Vegas has the opposite? And the answer is the Jaguars in Minnesota. Ha! We think the Jags are going to win this game 37-33, and you get 10.5 points with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow. We think they're going to win by 4. You get 10.5 anyway. So that's saying take them plus 10.5. But man, who wants to take the Jags? But wow, I wonder if this is a playoff. It is probably a playoff related game for Minnesota because they did manage to win last week. That's right. They pulled it out against Carolina. We think that Dallas is going to beat the Ravens, depending on who's hurt. Yeah, injury reports are going to change, and this game is the Tuesday game, I think. Tennessee over Cleveland, but only by 3 or 4. Interesting. So it says, wow, I don't agree with that. All right, well, we'll have to wait and see more. Now, here's the cool thing, though. So normally, I like to look at this by saying, which teams would you want to take on the spread or something, but because you can look at this into the future now, you can see like all the subsequent 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, all the games by all the teams. Or you could just go one at a time and see some. These are like we think in week 15 that the Niners are going to beat the Cowboys 48-29 apparently, based on who's playing right now. We think the Titans are going to beat Detroit 37-34. Stuff that's going to change, but it's interesting to look at it into the future. Now, here's what's cool about this. Now, I forgot to do this in any of the previous videos this year, and it's really something helpful, and you're going to see why. So, certain teams the algorithm has been picking throughout the season, and some teams it likes more than others. For example, last week, it liked the Chargers. Where's the chart? It liked the Chargers to beat the Bills last week, even though they ended up losing. Okay, they lost this game. Chargers lost this game pretty. But it liked the Chargers. Now, well, what about how this file and the algorithm does with the Chargers the whole year long? What about that? And this is where things get interesting. So there have only been the first 12 weeks so far. So look, the Chargers against the spread, when we pick the Chargers, we're 2-4. Let's look at just the spread lines. We're not even going to, actually, we can leave the wins up there, though. That's kind of cool, too. They're 0-7 every time we pick them with the spread. There's a lot of ways to look at this, which is really interesting. But, all right, let's just keep it easy because this gets really complicated to look at. Spread pick. So a team like the Chargers, we are 2-4 when it says to pick them on the spread. That's bad. Let's go down the list and look at all these teams throughout the season. Arizona, we've been 3-1. Oh, we got to open up all these weeks, though. Let's do this. What we want to do here is we want to open up, we want to say include all weeks 1 through 12, and then go with our team one by one. Arizona, we were 5-1. Okay? Like, these are the games that we won. We won against Dallas, the Jets, the Niners, the Washington Football Club, and the Seahawks, but we lost with them against Carolina. I don't know what week that was. But anyway, let's go down the list. Look how cool this is. So the algorithm's really good when it picks Arizona. Arizona has won 83% of the time on the spread line. That's what we learned from this, okay? Now you'll start to see why this is super cool. So now, how about with Atlanta? We're 2-3 when it says to pick Atlanta. What about with Baltimore? We're 2-2 when it says to pick Baltimore. What about Buffalo? We're 3-3. So you can see it's more times it has said pick Buffalo than Baltimore. There's only been 4 times it's picked Baltimore, 6 times that it picked Buffalo. Both of those have been even, win the same as lose the same. Carolina, we've been 5-2 when it says pick Carolina. That rivals Arizona's 83%. Carolina has a 71% win percentage. Chicago, loser. I'm not surprised at that. Chicago, it's told us to pick them 9 times, and we've only been 3-6. So something's wrong, and we're overestimating Chicago for some reason. That's what I learned from this. Cincinnati, get this! We're 5-1 with Cincinnati. Who would have ever thought that? That the algorithm is 5-1 when it says pick Cincinnati. That's phenomenal. Had I known that last week, I would have said, because it would have been 4-1 up until last week, I would have said, wow, I would have said take Cincinnati because the file's good when it says pick Cincinnati. Cleveland, we've been 1-1. It hardly ever tells us to pick Cleveland. Dallas, we've been 0-3 whenever it says take Dallas. That's funny. Denver, we've been 2-5 when it says take Denver, so that's a terrible one. Detroit, 1-2. Green Bay, 3-1. So when it says take Green Bay, that's been pretty good. Houston, 2-3. Indianapolis, 1-3. Wow. It's been wrong with Indianapolis a lot. Interesting. Jacksonville, 4-4. Remember, it's saying to take them this week, so you got a coin flip there, I guess. Kansas City, it's been only 1-1. Only told us to take Kansas City twice. Raiders have been 4-2. Only losing to Buffalo here. Chargers, 2-4, as we said. Rams, 5-2. Interesting. Yeah. Miami, 4-2. Minnesota, 2-2. Patriots, 4-4. It says to take the Patriots a lot, and we've been 4-4. New Orleans, only 1-1. Giants, it's been 4-1 with the Giants. 2-3 with the Jets, less than 500. 6-2 with Pittsburgh. How about that? It's had to say take Pittsburgh a lot, and it's been winning, 75 3 out of 4 of the games. Niners 2-3, Seahawks 3-1, Tampa 3-1, Tennessee 1-1, and Washington 4-3. Now, knowing all of that, let's go back to our week 13 here, even though this stuff is not updated yet. Let's go back to this week, knowing that, and saying, just from some memory there, some teams that were good and ones that we looked at. Remember, it was bad with Indianapolis. We have a bad record historically with Indianapolis, so this makes this game even more suspect. Like, if you want to start eliminating games based on teams the algorithm's really good with, get rid of Indianapolis, right? Get rid of the Chargers, like we said. Get rid of, I would say get rid of, I'll leave them for a sec. Who else was really bad? Somebody else was really bad. Was it Houston? I think Detroit is bad. Denver was bad. That's what it was. Cowboys were bad. Bears were bad. Get rid of them, right? Bengals were really good. I think Atlanta was not great. Well, anyway, so you leave these teams here, and then you say, well, what is the spread pick game again? Well, any of these teams were we super awesome with? The answer is we were awesome with the Jaguars. So the Jaguars is looking like a really, really good pick against Minnesota, according to the algorithm. We were good with the Patriots. So it likes taking the Patriots +1, thinks they're going to beat the Chargers. That could happen. It was good with the Giants against the Seahawks. What? Because you get 10. It thinks the Giants only lose this game by a point. That's nutty. Our scores look a little inflated here. I need to look at this magnifier. This looks a little high up, but I think there's so many injuries right now that stuff's a little screwed up. Bengals likes the Bengals +11.5 to fight off the Dolphins, and it says to do that. Crazy stuff. So anyway, that's 12-minute video, but I hope it was interesting. As you can see now, there's going to be a lot more browsing capability going on. I'm going to fix whatever's going on with this and send out the file some point on Thursday when I get all the full stats in, because it's not totally complete yet and ready to go out. And then there'll be an update later this weekend. So if you guys are interested, to subscribe to this, go to the link below. Also, I've got college basketball coming. That's the next thing coming. It's the season started. I have a file that I worked with last year that I'm going to crack open and start to look into that now that there's a way we can get odds in here from RotoWire really, really fast. So that should be great. All right, guys. Good luck, everybody. I hope you all had the under and the Steelers beating the Ravens like we had right here. God, there's so much going on in this file. I really do need to do a tutorial on everything. All right, guys. Good luck.